When it comes to relationship, that's all you want to do, you know. From the time you see a man or woman want to get involved with you, that's all you want to do, make you happy.
Let's make you happy.
Put a big smile on your face. You understand? And make you feel proud to be a husband or proud to be a wife.
Yeah, man.
With that being said, let me introduce you to our attorney at law.
Yeah, Mr. Shervon Nobriega.
Yeah, he's live on a Zoom call with us. Good morning, Shervon.
Hi, good morning. Morning, Taquille. Morning, Tommy. Morning, Clyde. Morning, everybody out there in Ojo.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you on board, man. Now, first, before we jump inside the interview, tell us about what type of attorney are you? What do you specialize in?
All right. Despite what people think, there are a lot of attorneys who don't specialize in one specific field. When you're taught in the law school, you're taught everything.
Right.
So you have a choice if you do want to specialize. But I am what is called a chamber attorney. So I do everything from criminal law to the divorce law, conveyancing, probate practice, which is when persons die, and that kind of a thing. So I do a lot of different things.
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah.
This is on my 9th year, the start of my 9th year. Yesterday was actually an anniversary of being called to the profession.
Boy, happy anniversary to you.
Yeah, man, happy anniversary. Something I want to ask also, well, I've heard in the ear that, every attorney have the same thing, a strong point.
Yeah,
even
strong
though,
point, yeah.
You have a strong point or is across the board?
Well, I would say there are three things that I'm mostly known for.
Yeah.
One is criminal law, which is a big bulk of my practice. Another is family law, which we're speaking about today. And the third thing would probably be conveyancing law.
Okay. Now today we are speaking about, as I say before, family law. Now, before we get into or we delve into it, tell us what is the simplest form of a family recognized by the governing body. In terms of, we know we have common law, we have marriage. What is the simplest form that is acknowledged across the board?
Okay, a family unit, as it is a mother,
right,
or father, and a child.
Right.
So basically, there must be at least two persons for that family unit.
Right.
Because even if there is no child, there can be a common law partner, a man and a woman.
Right.
Or a married man and a married woman. So there must be two parties for that family setting.
Right. So there must be two parties. So at the simplest
point of view.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I feel let me get on in here.
Yeah, let me get into it.
All right. Firstly, you had to start with this here.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting a divorce?
Okay, well, first and foremost, you can do it either for yourself. The family law has attorneys that are attached to it, the family court that is. So if you don't want to get an attorney, you can do that. However, there are certain aspects that you do need an attorney. So it is advisable to get an attorney. First things first, you get your marriage certificate. If there are children involved, you get their birth certificates. And then you have to give instructions. So if you're doing it for yourself, the attorney who's in the family court will take what is called the instructions and they will transform it into a divorce petition. If you're doing it via a private attorney, it's the same principle. You give them the instructions and they will transform it into the divorce petition. It will be filed, it will come before a judge as opposed to a magistrate, and then that period will come up where you come to court and the pronouncement that you are divorced happens.
How long is this period normally be like average? All cases wouldn't be the same, but in terms of the shortest time and the longest time it'll take for somebody to get divorced.
I can give you my example because every situation is different. Right. So the shortest I've ever taken for divorce is about 6 months. Why? First and foremost, when you file a divorce, it depends on the amount of divorces or family matters that are filed, and it goes to a judge's docket list. Right. So it depends on the judge's listing to be able to come before the court. So in that circumstance, the judge's list allowed me 3 months after, 2 to 3 months if I remember clearly, after it was filed. When I came up before the judge, you get what is called the decree nisi, which is a temporary divorce. And then you have to wait for 6 weeks to 2 months to pass before you can actually apply for the final divorce, which is called the decree absolute, and then you're finally divorced. So technically, you're still not divorced between that time.
So the temporary divorce, you ain't divorced yet. You have to wait till the final thing.
No, you're not divorced yet.
Okay.
Correct, that's right.
What are the main things what is going right here? Well, in Trinidad, is a common law relationship recognized by the court, because in a lot of instances, two people together a good while,
right?
Like let me say one of them deceased, one of them pass away, and then family members will come to try to seize assets and them kind of things.
So I guess the first question I want to ask along them lines is what consists of a common law relationship? Like how long you have to be living with the woman to be really called a common law?
Well, difference between a common law and a married person, you have to understand. When you're married, I have to start there first. When you're married, you get a marriage certificate. Right. So it doesn't matter if you're physically separated until you get a divorce, you're married. Right. With a common law partnership now, what it's properly called a cohabitational partnership. It is a circumstance whereby first and foremost, you must have a continuous period of 5 years together. Right. So it can't be, well, you live together for 4 years, you leave, 2 years pass and then they come back again, and 1 year pass and then you consider a common law. It's not like that. Or even if for circumstances sake you live together for 20 years, or they'll mash up as they say, you go and you live with somebody else for 2-3 years, and then they come back and say, well, I was a common law husband. So no, it doesn't work like that. It must be a continuous period, and then after you have to apply to the court before you're called a common law partner. So it's not a right. So you have to apply to the court.
I hear a lot of people outside there, as soon as you and somebody living together, say 5 years, then my wife, we come on law, you have to apply before the court and thing?
No, you have to apply before the court, because if the court does not declare you a common law partner, then a lot of things happen like that. So, for example, let's say Tommy gets married, and well, not Tommy gets married. Tommy starts living with someone, and 7 years passes, and then as far as he's considered, he's the lady's common law husband, and then the relationship goes apart, and he lives by himself for whatever period of time. They would have built or acquired a lot of assets, resources in that period of time, and he's thinking, boom, she dies, he's entitled to those assets. No, he's not, because if he does not go to the court within a particular period of time to apply first to be declared a common law partner, then he has no interest to get.
You see?
Look, we learned something.
I tell you that is one of the main things, because in an instance like that now, it our family members has come and swoop up, because I believe, Mr. Nobriega, they will really be legal, to benefit from, you understand? No, I'm not saying that the person has no recourse in the law, but their recourse will be something different than a family court action. So they may have to go to the civil court to try to show, where they'd have to bring proof of, for example, receipts for buildings or blocks or that sort of a thing, to show that they would have done things and expected a return in it. Wow.
Right, so in essence, right, a common law relationship, because I feel there's something that a lot of people want to get clear. Once it is not recognized before the court, when it comes
there is no common law relationship.
Right. So
until the court declares it, then you're really not a common law.
So in Trini terms, if you and a young lady linking for 5 years and all they never went before the court, when all they mash up, she can't get nothing?
Yeah, nothing to get.
No, she can't get anything. Not until the court declares it. So sorry to say.
But why you think people would prefer going to the court to get a common law relationship
with opposed to get married?
With opposed, why you think it?
So why didn't just go to the court and get married in the first place?
Get married.
What was the reasons you have come across with regard to that person? Just I want to get married.
I just want to be a common law, common law husband, common law wife.
There are a lot of different reasons, both legal and personal, for persons who choose to go through common law relationships. So, for example, there are persons who are separated from their actual married person.
Right.
And
I like what this is going to be.
Because they're separated now. They get into a relationship with someone and they live together for years. So that is a common law recognized relationship. So I've had a circumstance.
So what you're saying, right? Yeah, what you just tell me here, right? So I could be married to someone, things didn't work out, and I say, you know what, you live here, I live here, and during that period I bounce up somebody who piques my interest. You telling me that now I can enter a common relationship before the court to this person here? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's actually what I was gonna say. I had a circumstance whereby a person was married. The relationship, they were married for about 6 or 7 years. The relationship turned sour.
and for whatever reason, they didn't choose to get a divorce. The gentleman moved on, the lady moved on. Both of them were in common law relationships, as in relationships past 5 years. And the gentleman died. So when the gentleman died, it was a circumstance whereby both the common law partner of the gentleman and the wife had an ability to gain from his estate. Because as the wife, the period of time for which they were married, whatever assets that would have been acquired during that time, the wife can claim. And the common law partner, because she got an attorney, would have been declared a common law partner by the court and then had a right to apply for her interest as related to the person's estate.
So, alright, he had a wife, they didn't get divorced. He ended up in a common law relationship that was recognized before the court, right? Something come and happen to the young man.
How it one split?
How this is one greater than one, or is it like on the same level, or how this?
Well, I don't want to use the term greater, but wife has the first initial right when you think about it, because she is a wife. Right. She has a document that says she's a wife. Whereas the common law partner, she had to go to the court to first be declared a common law partner, and it would have had between a particular period of time. So the assets that would have been acquired between that period of time before the gentleman died, that is basically what she would have had a right to.
Oh. I see.
Fully understood.
I see.
Yeah. You see, those things would have happened in the past, and it would have brought about a really harsh circumstance where, I mean, it's Trinidad and Tobago. I'm sorry to say, there's some gentlemen or some people who decide not to get a divorce. And same thing, they go on and they move on with their lives. So they were living in Arima or living in Maloney and decide to go down south. And Maloney, they have a different, separate life down there. And when they have that life down there, they acquire assets.
Why you say Samaru village? Why you say Samaru? Your court, you see? Why you say Samaru village?
When the guy dies, though, the wife comes and takes everything, and that was never right in the court's eyes. It's not fair, because he would have moved on with his life, and the common law partner would have acquired particular assets for the person. So they're really just trying to be fair in the circumstances to bring about a fair result.
Understood. Now, along the whole marriage line and the whole in terms of common law, another part that a lot of people want to ask is about prenup. Tell us about a prenup. What exactly? I mean, we know it's a prenup, but for persons who are locked on and may not understand how it works, just shed some light on it.
Well, first, there's no prenuptial agreements in Trinidad and Tobago.
You lie.
All right. So despite what you think or what you hear, you can't sign a prenuptial agreement and think, well, it has some sort of a standing. What you can sign is a contract between two parties, and so if there's a breach of contract, then you would go to a civil court for breach of contract, as opposed to a family court to deal with that issue. But there's no prenuptial agreements to say, well, like in America, where there's a prenuptial agreement and you don't fulfill it, well, you have nothing to get to the divorce.
So it come like a relationship contract then. Me and you linking, days you have to sign, days you have to do, days what I go and do, and once you go outside of that, I take it to court.
That's right. And will be subject to all the same rules that any civil proceeding would have.
Wow. So it had no prenup down here, boy?
Careful.
No prenup.
Careful, Taquille.
Yeah. Now, the phone lines are open. I know persons may want to ask questions and get in.
We don't take too much, but...
Yeah, if you have a few questions you want to ask the attorney at law, feel free to call us up at 628-9336 or 996-96, and let us know, ask your questions away. And let me hear what he has to say.
Let's see if anybody out there carry you, any one of them.
Who carry?
But no. You see what going on there.
Hello.
No, morning.
Yeah, morning, King. You're live.
Concerning the divorce thing, I was listening you stating earlier, you need to have marriage and the children, but what if one does not have the document? What they could do to get through the divorce?
It was kind of something breaking up a little bit in between.
He was asking concerning documents, like if one of the kids, what you asking? What if one of the kids don't have their documents? Or
no, if the man or the woman don't have the documents.
That's like the marriage certificate?
certificate and insurance certificate and things.
Oh, so if so the question is, how you go about getting a divorce with if you misplace your documents, marriage certificate, the kids certificate. Yeah.
Alright, well listen up, you'll answer the question, right, bro?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You got the question, Shervon?
Well, the question.
Right.
Well, what I can say is that you do need the documents to file the application, at least the marriage certificate. So if you've misplaced your marriage certificate or the children's birth certificate, as the case might be, the simplest answer would be to go to the what do you call the Registrar General's office. That's by South Key, or there's one in Arima upstairs, Pennywise, and you can make an application for it. If it's your first application, it's free for the document. If it's an application after that, I think it's like $25 or something, so for a copy thereafter. But we do need to get the documents because, again, you have to show that you're married via the marriage certificate. And if you're claiming for any benefits for the children, maintenance, that sort of a thing, then you must show that there's a child and the child is yours.
Understood. Now, along the lines of this children thing that we just brought it up, right? Now, we can't get past the fact that in some relationships, children get involved. And at some point in time, relationship might end for whatever reason. And then we hear this term come into play, which is maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah.
How does maintenance work? Tell us about it.
Well, first and foremost, a lot of men, and I say men because for some strange reason it doesn't necessarily happen with women, but a lot of men feel that when you apply for maintenance, it means that you was not or were not maintaining your child.
Right.
It has absolutely nothing to do with that in a lot of cases. It just means to say that there is a separation between the mother and father. It doesn't have to be married or anything like that. And with that separation, the mother or father, because sometimes the child is with the father, has decided that it costs a particular amount to maintain the child and they would like assistance. So once you are that child's parent, maintenance is guaranteed for the child. So once your name is on the birth certificate as the father, you have to pay maintenance.
If your name not on the birth certificate.
If your name is not on the birth certificate, then what may happen is the court may ask for a paternity test to see whom is the father. Right. Once you are the father, then the court is going to declare maintenance order against you.
You have to pay your money. I understand. Right. We have another call on the line. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Morning.
Topic. I want to ask a question.
Sure.
Yeah. If you was you have 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
And you're single. You made a will for the 2 kids that you have them. I have all your father, and nobody. I'm making a will in case I should die. What I have belongs to all in my house and land, whatever, right?
Yeah.
1 year after you got married to somebody, does that will stand still, or it's crushed since you get married now?
Nice question, boy.
All
right, bro.
Well, listen up, you'll answer. Let me repeat the question for Shervon.
Yeah, what you're saying is that you didn't have anybody.
Right.
But you had 2 kids.
Right.
Right? You made a will stating that you were going on. So Mr. I'm to do tomorrow.
My kids and them getting everything.
These 2 kids, everything goes to them.
Right.
A year after,
get married.
Come and get married. Right? So what you want to know now, if the will still stand or if the wife will be the beneficiary.
Yeah, that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, you have to understand the principle of a will. A will is described as what we call ambulatory, which simply is just a legal term meaning, well, it doesn't stand until the person dies.
Right.
So you can change it at any point in time, right? So if he does a will now, giving whatever items to the children, once the items still exist, then the will stands unless you change it. Now, even though he has a wife, anything gained after the will go directly to the wife
but not
in a
before.
Particular share.
Okay.
But not before.
Wow.
Understood.
Right.
Yeah. So it may be a circumstance of it may be two kind of separate applications because the will would stand. So whatever is in the will would be there. But the wife will have an interest in what is there as well.
Understood. You have another call on the line. Let's see if we can squeeze this one real quickly.
Yeah,
Hello.
good morning.
Yeah,
Morning.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I paid maintenance for a child.
Right.
Child living with the grand. Now I do have custody of the child, I get the child on a weekend. Right?
Yeah.
The child living with the grandmother. Because the mother living with a man somewhere. How difficult? Well, I want to get my child. What is the process?
All right, only like, well, listen up and you'll answer
I
the
will
question.
listen up, yeah.
Yeah, my brother. You heard the question, bro?
Not everything. I heard about the child and the grandmother.
Alright. A young man is paying maintenance for a child, right? The child is not living with the mother. Apparently, the mother is somewhere out there, harming and jamming, doing cheating, and the child is living with the grandparents.
Right.
He wants to know the procedure to gain custody over the child.
All right. That's another thing too. We hear the term custody being bandied about, but it's not necessarily what we think. All right. Custody is really a legal term that means the legal interest of the child. So basically, what happens in a child's life, that's what we talk about custody. What he's really referring to is something called care and control of the child, which is the everyday taking care of the child, or the person who has the child in, for want of a better word, their possession or within their presence every single day.
Right.
So what he wants to do is file an application for custody, because with custody flows the care and control. So he files the application for custody for the child to be, or for him to have the child.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the child is not necessarily supposed to be in the custody, as they use in the term, custody or care and control of the grandmother. The court would have found out that the mother is the person supposed to be with the child. That is why they would have ordered the maintenance order against it. So if it's a circumstance that the mother is no longer in the picture, then as the biological father, he has the right to apply for his child.
But he does have to
and
prove.
it would reverse the maintenance order as well.
He does have to prove that the child is actually living with the grandparents.
Well, I'm taking it. Well, yeah, he has to prove that the child is with the grandparents.
All right.
We have a next call. The phone lines blazing.
Final caller.
Hello.
Final caller.
Hi guys, morning.
Yeah, morning.
Okay, so this is my question. You have a child, you get the birth certificate of the child. On the birth certificate, the father's name is stated and the mother's name is stated, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Is it an assumption or is it law that when the time comes to get legal documents for this child, passport, whatever, that it is automatic for the child to carry the father's surname, or can the child carry the mother's surname without it being a problem?
Ah, boy. All right, listen up and you'll answer the question, right? Yeah.
Totally.
You heard it, right?
Ask. Kill some man. She trouble. No shit. Yeah, my brother.
Right, what's the question?
Oh, you didn't hear
I wasn't hearing the question clearly.
What she said is that, all right, so when you go to register a child's birth, right, mother and father name is on the birth certificate. And she's asking, when you go for other legal documents like passport and so on, is it mandatory that the child carries the father's last name, or could the child carry the mother's last name? That's the question, right?
Yeah, that's the question.
Right. Well, the question really and truly is a sort of a ticklish question, in that, one, there's no law that says that once your father's name is on your birth certificate, you have to carry your father's name. As in your father's surname. Okay. All right.
Something you told me there.
It's a general practice. Yeah, it's a general practice that once your father's name is on the birth certificate, that you would carry the surname.
Right.
So, but if at the moment of registration you choose to name the child something else, then that is up to you at that point in time. So, for example, just using Nigel Joseph.
Yeah.
Right. With Nigel Joseph has a child. He and his child and his child's mother go to register their child. His name is on the birth certificate. Mother's name is there. But for some strange reason, the mother wants the child to carry her surname, Williams, instead of Joseph.
Right.
There's no law that prevents that, or there's no law that takes that away from her. Right? In the future, if she has to change the name, there would be particular applications that she would have to make. But there's no particular law that says that it's mandatory that she has to have the father's last name.
Wow.
Like I say, it's just really and truly.
I think the only thing in that instance there, I think you have to get the father's permission. That is passport, like
Correct,
visa,
right.
them kind of thing. I know you have to get the father permission, like something written stating that he.
But along those same lines, right? Like we say, we have a situation just as you said. The mom decide to have the child carrying her last name.
Yeah.
Let me say the father objects to it, and he wants to go on and change the last name. What is the procedure to get that done? Because you don't want you with the mother last name for whatever reason.
Masculine.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem masculine.
Yeah, you don't carry my name.
Your child have the mother's surname.
What, the surname or the first name?
The surname.
You can make an application to the family court, but and you'd have to it's an application to the family court, and you have to bring in the same Registrar General people. Right. How successful the application is really depends on what your reason is for the name change. Right. Like I said, it's not really a mandatory law. There's no lawyer that can point to say that it has to happen. Yeah. So if the mother names the child after herself, then really and truly that's the child's name for the time period.
True. Okay. Understood.
All right.
Understood.
All right. We take one more.
Yeah, we take one more. You have more time to come back after.
Yeah, one.
This thing going to
one and done. One and we done.
Hello.
Yes, my brother.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
That radio station?
Yeah.
Tell me something. I want to ask him one question. A very informative program, but I think he's leaving out a very important matter.
Ask away.
Divorce law. The absolute. What is an absolute? And I'm not talking about vodka. An absolute.
What is an absolute?
Absolute. Please ask him that for me, please.
No problem, my brother.
Yeah. Right, thank you.
Yeah, so you want to know what is an absolute, and he's not speaking about vodka.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
All right. When you get divorced, the day that you go into the divorce, so today is the 3rd of November.
Right.
And you go into court today. The court declares that you are divorced. The document that they give you to represent what would have happened today is called a decree nisi. So that's your provisional or your temporary divorce, right? 6 weeks to 2 months thereafter, you make an application for what is called the absolute or the decree absolute to say that yes, the divorce is final.
Yeah, we done.
Until you get that absolute, that's when it's done.
We done. That is it. We lock off. We absolutely done.
Yeah. Because for example, when you have the nisi, it doesn't mean you're divorced. So if the person were to die between the period until the absolute is declared, then technically you're still married and still entitled to the person's estate.
I said I get frightened.
You want to get married again?
I know, looking at tab, you're not coming on the bench.
Well, Shervon, I must say
the phone line's going crazy, but we out of time.
Yeah, I must say thanks for taking this time off to have this discussion with us. Now, in closing, before you go, I know persons may have further questions, and I know when it comes to attorney at law, time is money. So in case, let me say, persons outside, they have some further questions, we want to get in contact with you for whatever legal matters.
Give us some handles.
Yeah, how they can get in contact with you?
Technically, we're not supposed to give out your number and that sort of a thing. In particular, there's actually strict rules against attorneys advertising. That's why you never really see a big billboard with like an attorney's name or something. But
link to me.
The closest thing to advertising we can have is if somebody who has used your services decides to say, well, this is my attorney. If you want, you can call him and whatnot.
Okay.
So let me ask you this.
Link to me.
Like it tells that child Taquille and mine up and move.
Brother, come on, friend. I don't just now, boy.
Alright, I just want to chuck it. I'm going to chuck it. I'm going to talk to you off here with that one. I'm going to talk to the little Rasta youth. I'm going to talk to you. Oh, you talk. But my brother, thanks for passing through, my brother, all the time.
Yeah, man.
All the time.
Look forward to having you again sometime in the future because we have a lot of things that we can discuss.
We
just touch the surface of it. So, thanks again. We will link up another date, another time. Keep safe.
Blessings, my brother.
You can do any good work.
I was wondering, can I just send one shout out for my niece? It's her birthday today, actually.
You do your thing now, man.
Happy birthday, Janice. Hope you have a special day. I know she likes, what's his name is Rebel 6. So you can play Rebel 6.
She must get that. Must get that for sure.
You getting that?
For sure. You could get. I feel like I might get that immediately after this interview.
Boy. I feel like I play that no trust, no love, all kind of thing one time.
Yeah.
Since you deal with this kind of relationship thing.
No trust, no love, man.